Tonight, something unthinkable has shattered the illusion of safety. Ryan Mitchell's home, once a symbol of warmth, now stands as the epicenter of a crime scene. Inside, the wreckage tells its own brutal story. The air is thick with the metallic scent of blood, mingling with the faint remnants of something domestic, maybe coffee, maybe cologne. Ryan Mitchell's body lies motionless on the living room floor, his shirt dark with the spreading stain of his final moments. Nearby, shards of broken glass glisten under the dim light, remnants of an overturned picture frame. A toppled chair, a dent in the drywall, each mark in the room is evidence of a struggle, a desperate attempt at survival that ended in tragedy. An officer kneels beside the body, placing 2 fingers against Ryan's cooling neck, though he already knows the answer. No pulse, no breath, just the eerie, unshakable silence of death. A few feet away, Laura Hayes sits hunched over, her body trembling as sobs rack her frame. Her hands, slick with crimson, clutch a knife she no longer seems to recognize. Her lips move, barely forming words at first before her voice cracks through the silence. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Over and over, she repeats the phrase, a mantra of disbelief, her tone wavering between hysteria and grief. Officers move cautiously toward her, guns still drawn but lowered. "Laura, put the knife down," one of them says, voice calm but firm. She looks up, dazed, her tear-streaked face framed by strands of hair stuck to her damp skin. Her gaze flickers between Ryan's still form and the officer approaching her. She swallows hard, her breath hitching. "I didn't mean to... He wouldn't listen." A younger officer shifts uncomfortably, gripping the radio at his shoulder. "Suspect is detained," the lead officer announces into his radio, stepping closer. "Get EMS inside now." But everyone in the room already knows. The paramedics won't be saving Ryan tonight. Before the sun rises, the media descends. News vans park haphazardly along the street, reporters adjusting their microphones as cameras roll. A shocking crime has rocked this quiet community. A blonde news anchor reports, her voice heavy with practiced solemnity. Ryan Mitchell, a beloved teacher, was found dead in his home late last night. His former girlfriend, Laura Hayes, is currently in police custody. Social media explodes with speculation. Some label Laura a scorned woman, a tragic figure consumed by love gone wrong. Others are less forgiving, calling her unstable, unhinged, a killer. Every outlet scrambles to piece together the narrative. Was it jealousy, a crime of passion, or something more sinister? But the real story, the one hidden beneath sensationalized headlines and whispered gossip, is far more unsettling. This was not a moment of blind rage. It was years in the making, a slow, poisonous unraveling fueled by obsession, betrayal, and a refusal to let go. And as Laura sits in the back of a police cruiser, staring blankly ahead, the full truth remains just out of reach, for now. Ryan Mitchell's return to his hometown was supposed to be a fresh start, a respected teacher, admired by his students, engaged to a woman who adored him. On the surface, his life seemed like something out of a dream. But beneath his composed demeanor, old ghosts lingered. Laura. Some nights, as he lay beside Samantha, he would stare at the ceiling, guilt pressing against his chest. He told himself he had done the right thing, moving on. But there were moments when his past felt like an unfinished chapter, a weight he had never truly shed. And now, that past was beginning to whisper again. Laura never believed in endings, only in unfinished stories. Ryan had once been her entire world. Their love had burned hot, consuming everything in its path: passion, fights, promises, betrayals. It was chaotic, intoxicating, and, in her eyes, unbreakable. But Ryan had walked away, and while he had built a new life, she had remained suspended in time, trapped in memories that refused to fade. When she heard about his engagement, something inside her snapped. Samantha wasn't just another woman. She was an intruder, a thief. Ryan was supposed to be hers, and if she couldn't have him, then neither could anyone else. Samantha loved Ryan deeply, but something was off. It started as a gut feeling, an unshakable unease that grew stronger with time. At first, it was just little things. His distant expression when he thought she wasn't looking, the way his phone screen would light up in the middle of the night, the tension in his jaw when she mentioned Laura's name. She wanted to believe him when he said there was nothing to worry about. But how could she ignore the feeling that someone was watching? That wherever they went, eyes lingered just a little too long. Her instincts whispered a warning. Laura wasn't done with Ryan. And maybe, just maybe, Ryan wasn't entirely done with her either. Ryan's mother had never liked Laura. Something about her had always unsettled her, a possessiveness in her eyes, an unpredictable volatility simmering just beneath the surface. She had watched their relationship crumble, watched Laura's desperate attempts to hold on, and she knew, even now, that the past wasn't truly buried. Meanwhile, Detective Mark Gibson had no idea that his next case would be one of the most chilling of his career. He had seen obsession before, he had witnessed what unchecked jealousy could lead to, but he wasn't prepared for how deeply tangled this story would become. Not yet. The first text arrived at 2:13 a.m. "I miss you, Ryan." Ryan stared at the screen, his fingers tightening around his phone. He exhaled, locking it without responding. The second came a week later. "Do you ever think about me?" Then another and another. The messages escalated. Apologies, accusations, longing, rage. Ryan ignored them, convincing himself she would eventually stop, until he spotted her across the parking lot at school, watching him from a distance, until he came home to find a handwritten note on his doorstep. "You can't erase me." He told himself it was nothing. He told himself she was just hurting, but deep down he knew better. Samantha held the phone tightly, her heart pounding as she stared at the messages. "She's texting you at 2 in the morning, Ryan." Her voice wavered between frustration and something dangerously close to fear. Ryan sighed, running a hand over his face. "Sam, she's just struggling. I told her it's over. She'll move on." "Then why is she showing up at your work?" She stepped closer, searching his eyes for something, anything that would make sense. Ryan hesitated, and that hesitation was an answer in itself. "Why does she think she still has a chance?" Samantha's voice broke, anger giving way to hurt. Ryan swallowed hard, looking away. "Because I let her." A silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken truths. Laura wasn't letting go, and now Samantha wasn't sure Ryan had ever fully let go either. Laura lingers in the background, unseen but ever present. She watches Ryan and Samantha from a distance, snapping pictures of them at the grocery store, the park, their favorite cafe. Each captured moment feeds her rage. Late at night, she creates fake social media accounts, leaving cryptic messages on Samantha's posts. "You don't know the real him. History always repeats itself." Each comment is deleted within hours, but the damage is done. The letter arrives without a return address. Samantha tears it open, scanning the uneven handwriting. "Ask him about the nights he spent with me after he met you. The truth always comes out." Her breath catches in her throat. She reads it again, willing the words to change, but they remain the same. Cold, deliberate, poisonous. Ryan walks in, noticing her pale face. "Sam, what's wrong?" She hesitates, then holds up the letter. "You tell me." Ryan reads the note, his expression darkening. "Jesus, this is insane." He tosses it onto the counter. "She's desperate, Sam. She'll say anything to make you doubt me." Samantha studies his face, searching for something. Panic, guilt, hesitation. "Are you sure that's all it is?" His frustration flares. "Come on, Sam. You know me. I wouldn't." But the damage is done. Doubt has taken root, spreading like a slow-growing poison. Ryan starts noticing things. Footsteps behind him when he leaves work, a figure in his rearview mirror, disappearing when he looks again. His phone rings late at night, the caller ID blank. He wakes up drenched in sweat, the feeling of being watched suffocating. Samantha notices too. She reaches for his hand one night. "Ryan, is there something you're not telling me?" He forces a smile, but his grip tightens around hers. "No, everything's fine." Everything is not fine. Ryan walks into the coffee shop, scanning the room until he sees her. Laura. She looks different, tired, thinner, eyes hollowed out, but when she sees him, she smiles. "You came," she whispers. He sits, keeping a distance. "This needs to stop, Laura." Her hands tighten around her cup. "You promised me forever." Her voice trembles, but there's something sharp beneath it. Ryan exhales. "We were kids. We weren't meant to last." Laura leans in, her breath warm. "You don't get to erase me, Ryan. We are unfinished." Later that night, Samantha's voice is ice. "You met her?" Ryan sighs, rubbing his temples. "She cornered me. I just wanted to end it peacefully." Samantha's jaw tightens. "You didn't tell me. That's what scares me the most." "I didn't want to worry you." She cuts him off. "Or is it because you still feel something for her?" Ryan flinches, the truth too messy to untangle. Laura watches from her car as Ryan and Samantha argue outside their home. She can't hear the words, but the body language is enough. Samantha is livid. Ryan is defensive. She leans back, smiling. It's only a matter of time. That night, Ryan gets a text. "She'll never love you the way I did." He throws his phone across the room. Every escape route is gone. Samantha barely looks at him. Laura is everywhere, suffocating him. Ignoring her hasn't worked. Confronting her hasn't worked. And now, for the first time, he wonders if this won't end until someone gets hurt. Samantha grips the note, her pulse hammering. "You'll never marry him." She looks around the empty parking lot, feeling a presence that isn't there. She gets into her car, locks the doors, and exhales shakily. For the first time, she is afraid. "We need to go to the police," Samantha insists. Ryan runs a hand down his face. "Sam, she's not dangerous. She's just what?" She cuts him off. "Ryan, wake up. She's stalking us. She's threatening me." He hesitates. "What if this ruins her life?" Samantha's eyes widen. "You're still protecting her?" The silence between them is deafening. Ryan stops in his tracks. Laura is sitting on his porch steps, hands clasped together, waiting. "We need to talk," she says softly. He doesn't move. "Leave." Her smile fades. "I'm not going anywhere." "Laura, if you don't—" "Or what?" And her eyes darken. "You'll regret this, Ryan." And then she walks away, disappearing into the night. "She was sitting outside our house?" Samantha's voice is sharp with disbelief. Ryan nods. "And you still don't think she's dangerous?" His throat tightens. "She's broken." Samantha shakes her head. "And you're still making excuses for her." Ryan knows she's right. Ryan walks into the police station. Detective Gibson studies him, unimpressed. "What took you so long?" Ryan swallows hard. "I need a restraining order." Gibson nods, scribbling something down. "Take this seriously. People like her don't just walk away." Laura sits alone in her apartment, the bottle in her hand nearly empty. Her reflection in the window is unrecognizable, hollow, angry, unhinged. "He turned me into this," she slurs, gripping the glass so tight it cracks. She pulls out an old photograph, her and Ryan, smiling. Then she picks up a pair of scissors. Slowly, methodically, she cuts Samantha out of the picture. Her hands don't even tremble. She places the torn photograph on the table, running her fingers over Ryan's face. "This ends tonight." She reaches into her drawer, pulling out a knife. A calm, eerie smile spreads across her lips. The clock strikes midnight. Laura's breathing is erratic, her hands trembling as she forces the lock with a quick, forceful twist. The door creaks open, revealing the dimly lit interior of Ryan's home. The air is thick with silence, broken only by the faint hum of the refrigerator and the soft ticking of a clock in the hallway. Her fingers tighten around the knife in her pocket. She isn't even sure when she grabbed it. Maybe when she was pacing her apartment, drowning in whiskey and bitterness. Maybe when she decided that tonight was the night she'd take back what was hers. She steps inside, closing the door behind her. The house should feel familiar. It was once a place where she belonged. But now, it feels foreign, occupied by someone who has stolen her life. Her heart pounds in her ears. Tonight, it all ends. Ryan stirs in his sleep, something unsettling his senses. A presence. The creak of a floorboard. His eyes flutter open, adjusting to the dim glow of the hallway. And then, he sees her. Laura. She stands in the middle of the living room, her figure barely illuminated by the streetlights filtering through the window. Her shoulders rise and fall with heavy, uneven breaths. The gleam of metal catches his eye. Her hand is clenched around a knife. Ryan sits up slowly, his voice careful, controlled. "Laura, what are you doing here?" Her lips part, but no words come. The emotions in her eyes shift. Grief, fury, betrayal, love, all tangled together in a storm she can no longer control. "You destroyed my life." Her voice is hoarse, thick with raw emotion. "You threw me away like I was nothing." Ryan's hands rise, palms open. "No one threw you away, Laura. I moved on. You have to move on too." She lets out a bitter laugh, shaking her head. "Move on?" Her grip on the knife tightens. "You expect me to watch you build a life with her, after everything we had?" Ryan's heart pounds, but he keeps his voice steady. "You don't have to do this." Laura takes a step forward. "Yes, I do." Upstairs, Samantha shifts in bed. Something is wrong. She blinks awake, straining her ears. Raised voices. A woman's voice. Laura. The realization jolts her upright. She swings her legs over the bed, creeping toward the staircase. Each step feels heavier, as if her body is warning her to turn back. When she reaches the living room, the scene in front of her freezes her in place. Ryan stands tense, his body between her and Laura. Laura's face is twisted in pain and rage, her arm raised, fingers clenched around a knife. Samantha's breath catches in her throat. "Oh my God!" Laura's gaze snaps toward her. The world stops. And then, it explodes. "You took everything from me!" Laura shrieks, her voice raw with agony. Samantha's body locks in terror. Ryan steps forward. "Laura, put the knife down. This isn't you." "Shut up!" Laura's hand shakes, but she doesn't lower the weapon. Her breaths come in gasps, erratic and shallow. Then, in a single fractured second, she lunges. Ryan reacts instinctively, grabbing her wrist as she swings at him. The knife misses by inches. A violent struggle erupts. The sound of heavy breathing, the scrape of feet against the floor, the raw grunts of exertion as Ryan wrestles against Laura's strength. Samantha rushes forward, trying to help, but the momentum shifts. Laura yanks free, her hand jerking wildly. And then, the blade sinks deep into flesh. Ryan gasps, his body going rigid. Laura stumbles back, her expression morphing from rage to horror. Blood, dripping from her fingers, spreading across Ryan's shirt. Oh God. Ryan staggers, his legs giving out. Samantha screams, catching him before he hits the ground. "No, no, no! Ryan, stay with me!" Her hands press against the wound, but the blood won't stop. Ryan's breaths come in shallow gasps. His fingers tighten around Samantha's wrist. His lips move, barely a whisper. "Sam." She leans closer, tears blinding her. "I love you," he exhales. And then his grip loosens. His chest stills. Samantha's scream shatters the night. Red and blue lights slash through the darkness. Officers storm inside, weapons raised, voices shouting commands. Samantha doesn't move. She clutches Ryan's body, her sobs racking her frame. Laura stands frozen, her eyes locked on Ryan, mouth slightly open. She drops the knife. It clatters to the floor. As officers grab her arms, pulling them behind her back, Laura doesn't resist. She stares at the blood on her hands. "I didn't mean to," she whispers. "He made me do it." One of the officers exhales sharply. "Get her out of here." She doesn't struggle as they drag her toward the door. Her gaze flickers to Samantha. "This is your fault," she whispers. Samantha doesn't even look up. Paramedics lift Ryan's body onto a stretcher. Samantha tries to follow, but an officer gently stops her. "Miss, you need medical attention." She barely hears him. The world feels muted, distant. A crime scene. That's what her home has become. Her love, her life, all gone. Detective Gibson steps inside, surveying the destruction. Bloodstains, broken furniture. A crime of passion turned fatal. His gaze lands on a piece of paper peeking from Laura's jacket pocket. A note. "If I can't have you, no one can." His jaw tightens. Premeditated. This wasn't just a moment of rage. Laura had come here to kill. By morning, the town is in shock. Ryan Mitchell, the beloved teacher, is dead. Laura Hayes, once his childhood sweetheart, is now a murderer. Her mugshot floods the news. Messy hair, hollow eyes, lips pressed into a thin line. Some call her obsessed. Others call her insane. But one thing is certain. Jealousy had turned deadly. Detective Mark Gibson sits at his desk reviewing the thick case file spread before him. The deeper he digs, the clearer the pattern becomes. Obsession, manipulation, and escalating threats, all leading to the night of Ryan Mitchell's murder. Ryan's phone records tell a chilling story. Weeks of ignored texts from Laura, desperate voicemails, emails alternating between love letters and rage-filled accusations. The restraining order, barely a week old, feels like a grim premonition. "I should have listened," Ryan had written in one of his last messages to Samantha. But by the time he realized how dangerous Laura had become, it was too late. Gibson sifts through the pile of testimonies. Neighbors recall the screaming, the desperate clash of voices before the silence fell like a curtain. Samantha's statement confirms what the notes, texts, and threats had already suggested. Laura didn't just snap. She planned this. Surveillance footage from a gas station 2 blocks away captures Laura in the driver's seat of her car that night, parked for nearly an hour before making her move. She wasn't there to talk. She was waiting for the right moment to strike. Inside the courtroom, Laura sits motionless at the defense table. Her attorneys paint a picture of a woman unraveling, emotionally unstable, a victim of heartbreak, pushed beyond her limits. She wasn't thinking clearly, her lawyer argues. She acted out of desperation, not premeditation. But the prosecution dismantles their narrative piece by piece. They display the gas station footage, the blood-stained note found in her pocket. "If I can't have you, no one can." The jury watches as Laura's messages are read aloud, each one dripping with jealousy, resentment, and intent. The defense argues for a lesser sentence. The prosecution pushes for justice. The jury deliberates. The world waits. Samantha wakes up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, gasping for air. Ryan's blood is still on her hands. No, it's just a dream. But the nightmares don't stop. The house is silent now. His side of the bed is cold. His clothes still hang in the closet, his favorite cologne untouched on the dresser. "You'll never marry him." The note Laura had left on her car plays on a loop in her mind. If she had pushed harder, if she had made Ryan take the threat seriously, would he still be alive? The what-ifs haunt her, clawing at the fragile pieces of her sanity. The first time Samantha stands in front of a crowd, she barely gets the words out. "Ryan thought he was handling it," she says, voice trembling. But handling it alone wasn't enough. She speaks at conferences, to victims of stalking, to families of those who ignored the red flags, just like Ryan had. She becomes the face of awareness campaigns, warning of the dangers of unchecked obsession. She refuses to let his death be just another statistic. Samantha packs a single suitcase. She can't stay in this town, in this house, in the memories that choke her. Her fingers linger on the engagement ring she still wears, the symbol of a future stolen in a moment of madness. Ryan is gone, but Laura didn't take everything. Samantha is still here, and she won't let Laura win. The gavel strikes. Guilty of second-degree murder. Laura barely reacts. The judge's voice is stern, final. You are sentenced to 25 years in prison with no possibility of parole for 15. The courtroom hums with mixed emotions: relief, sorrow, justice, loss. Samantha watches as Laura is led away in handcuffs. It should feel like closure, but it doesn't. Nothing will bring Ryan back. Months later, from a prison cell, Laura gives an exclusive interview. Her voice is even, rehearsed. I loved him. She leans forward, shaking her head. But he lied to me. He made me believe there was still a chance. He made me this way. To the public, her words are nothing more than the desperate ramblings of a woman who refuses to take responsibility. To Samantha, they are confirmation that Laura has learned nothing. Ryan Mitchell's students raise money for a scholarship in his name. His face, once smiling and full of life, is now on framed photos at memorials, on news segments about crimes of passion, on brochures about domestic violence prevention. His name becomes a lesson, a warning. And though time moves forward, for the people who loved him, the loss remains. A reminder that jealousy left unchecked can kill. Samantha stands before Ryan's grave, her fingers tracing his name on the cold stone. The wind howls around her, but she doesn't shiver. She feels numb, hollow. Laura's obsession didn't just claim Ryan's life, it fractured hers beyond repair. A year ago, Samantha was planning a wedding. Now, she spends her nights haunted by the final moments of the man she loved. The blood, the screams, the unbearable silence after. Ryan had always seen the good in people. He believed in second chances, but his kindness became his downfall. Laura's descent into madness wasn't sudden. It was a slow, calculated obsession that festered in the shadows, fed by jealousy and entitlement. She didn't just kill Ryan. She made sure no one could have him. Now, she sits behind bars, but Samantha knows that doesn't mean justice. There is no justice when the person you love is stolen from you. No court ruling can undo the past. No sentence can bring Ryan back. Her voice breaks as she whispers, I'm sorry, Ryan. I should have made you listen. But it's too late. It has always been too late. Samantha steps onto the stage, staring at the packed auditorium. Faces blur together, expectant, waiting, listening. She grips the microphone, her hands cold. Taking a breath, she forces herself to speak. Love isn't control. Love isn't fear, and jealousy sure as hell isn't devotion. The silence is deafening. She swallows. This is harder than she thought. Ryan believed he could handle things on his own. He thought that ignoring the problem would make it disappear. It didn't. She exhales sharply. If someone makes you feel unsafe, trust yourself. Speak out before it's too late. A woman in the front row dabs her eyes. A man nods solemnly, fingers interlocked as he listens. Samantha doesn't just see a crowd. She sees victims, survivors, people who, like her, have felt the shadow of obsession creeping closer, tightening its grip. She forces herself to hold back the tears. This isn't about her pain anymore. This is about making sure no one else feels it. I ignored the signs. I convinced myself she would just go away. She tightens her grip on the mic. I was wrong, and Ryan paid the price. The weight of her words settles over the room like a thick fog. No one looks away. This is why she's here. This is why she won't stop. Because someone out there is ignoring the signs right now, and she refuses to let them make the same mistake. The headlines fade, but the tragedy remains. Ryan's murder becomes a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of what happens when obsession turns deadly. His former students organize a scholarship in his honor. His family fights for stronger laws protecting victims of stalking. Samantha dedicates her life to raising awareness. But the truth remains. This should have never happened. Love should never feel like ownership. No one should mistake possessiveness for passion. Jealousy is not a sign of devotion. It is a warning. The past cannot be rewritten, but the future can be different. Maybe, somewhere out there, someone recognizes the signs. Maybe they leave before it's too late. And maybe, just maybe, Ryan's story saves a life.